Okay, so this is a small guide about how to handle the public issues so that we can be a bit more consistent about it. So about the why, handling issue can be very time consuming for no good reason. Basically trying to make sense of it and extracting the information from whatever the player meant, which is not very clear sometimes. And that's something that anyone can do, so it makes a lot of sense to share that work a bit. So in an ideal world, all non-dev work would be already done in the issue, so that, well, it takes less time for us to handle it, and the less time it takes for a developer to handle it, the more issues it can handle. So anyway, I just give you some quick example. I think that's the best way to go. So we created that label, which is double checked, which is basically your stamp of validation. You can put an issue to say, okay, it's ready to be checked by the developer. Well, so I'll give you the link in Discord, but basically what I just do here is I tell GitHub I want to list every issue without the label. So I'll just take one, for example this one. So the first question I want to ask is, can I reproduce this? So do I have enough information to do so here? Well, that's a pretty simple one. There is the NPC name here. Well, actually, I just read it with you. So there is this guy in front of Stratholm, which has too much health and not enough damage, according to him, basically. So I want to go to that guy. If I add the NPC ID, I could go very directly to him, so that's something we'll want to add. So let's do that now. I'm looking for his ID, boom. Actually, I can just put the link here. That's one thing. And then, now that I have his ID, I can just go in game and do something like this. And, okay, boom. Where are you? Oh, well, that guy is wandering in the place, so that's actually a bad example. I have to find him now. Okay, so I will just add one, which is a dumb way to do it. Okay, so this guy has a lot of health indeed, as he reported. And, well, I will let him hit me a bit. And indeed, he does it like a little girl. Like those guys, it's more than him. So this seems indeed abnormal. Okay. And goodbye. So yeah, I can find the issue. I did see indeed the same thing as he said, so that's good. That was the first point. About the creator ID, really, well, as you've seen, it allows us to go check very quickly the creator, and also to go check the commands, and also that's a number we will need in any case when developing, so might as well include it now. That's really something that's useful to us, be it for NPC or spells or quests or items. Well, you get the idea. Okay, so that's still the first question. The second question we want to ask here is, well, what is the expected behavior? So he says himself, not sure. Well, that's maybe not a good example for this, because this is something that's really hard to find for something as anecdotal as this. But let's say he would have reported a spell, we really need to get him to do the research for us. We need him to tell us that should be actually doing that, and not just tell us, I don't know how that works, search for me. Which is basically what he's saying here. there are a lot of issues like that, and this is very bad. Okay, so if he made a claim like he should have like 10k HP, well, he would need to back it up as well. We can't just trust people with that kind of information, or just I remember it from retail. It's also a very bad explanation. We need a proof, a video. The videos are really good, or a post or a comment, something. But we can't trust one guy memory. That's something we just can't. Okay. If I did let's say ask him the source, I would just either I add it myself because I found it, or I just ask him and add the question label, which is here. And you should all have the right to do so. If you don't, come talk to me. Okay, and if I'm happy with this this issue, let's say, okay, let's put my label double checked there. Boom. So now if I go back here, it won't appear anymore. Okay, that's one. So let's do another. Like this one. Yeah, so question one again. Can I reproduce it? Okay, I don't have an ID. Same shit. Blah 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 blah. Why is it in French? Don't want French. Blop blop blop. Boom. That's one thing. So okay, let's go in game, find one. If you don't have those commands, I will really ask Nolin to give you them, because that's really weird if you don't. Okay, and okay, I'll maybe up my level a bit, because engagement distance depends on my level. Okay, and he's the same level as me. So he's saying the mob disengage too fast, which seems to be entirely correct, the distance he gives, but and this is, yeah, I don't know, that doesn't seem off to me. Yeah, so this is really a waste of time for the developer to handle. So when you make claims like this, you have to back them up. So let's get back to our question. Can I reproduce it? No, not really. Well, you can run, yeah, okay, let's say, okay, I can reproduce that. I have nothing more to ask him on that part. But on what is expected part, well, there is a reason we got a template to force people or to at least invite people to give it to us. So it should be telling us which source. This should be at this much meter, and this is, by the way, an issue we already met before. So there is some source somewhere in the other issues, I think. Anyway, and well, so this issue should really be not be something that we as developers want to see. That should be filtered out by you guys. Filtered out. Okay. On another note, that is a really bad title. Like this is not something that you can read and know what it means just by the title. So do not hesitate to change the title if you can think of a better one. Second note, people do overgeneralize things all the time. So, for example, in this one, it could be that maybe that particular mob has a different script that says it should grow faster, for example. And people will see that and they will report all creatures disengage too fast, a bit like it does with the title, which is really often not true. So that's why we want to have the specifics and the specific reproduce steps. because maybe people will say all mobs do not disengage, they all disengage too fast, and then you will test another mob and it won't, and then okay, you're stuck now. You can't do anything because you don't have the specific case where it did discover that. So in this case, I would really go for the too specific rather than the too generalized. So if you're not sure, just go with the specifics and say, for example, the title would be the ice tistle yeti disengage too fast, something like that. In case of doubts about those kinds of things, just especially for the first one you handle, you can just ask me. Yeah, about the labels, we're still figuring out things, so I don't have a lot to say right now, but this is something we'll probably define more in the following days or weeks. And that's it for now. That's the first version of this video, and I'll probably redo one later if it's needed. Anyway, bye bye.